Hello friends, welcome to this video where I will be discussing the 3 new illustrations which have been added in your syllabus of CA Final AFM in the chapter of derivatives. Students, this area belongs to a concept called as real options, in which illustration 4 talks about valuation of a patent. Now a disclaimer. This video should be watched only by those whose derivatives chapter is over, in which we have studied binomial model, Black-Scholes model, etc. for valuing a call. Only then you watch this video. Otherwise, if your chapter is still pending, then you should not watch this video, because I will be explaining to those students whose derivatives chapter is done. Okay, these are 3 new illustrations added in the latest study module, the new syllabus, and we will cover it in this particular video. So let us start valuation of patents. And for valuation of patents, illustration 4 of ICAI new study module I am taking. Let's start reading it. They are saying ABC is a pharmaceutical company possessing a patent of a drug called Edrex, a medicine for AIDS patient. Okay, so there is this company called ABC. It's a pharma company, and what does it have? It possesses a patent of a drug called Edrex. So this particular drug, this particular company can produce, can manufacture, and it holds the patent for the same. Now what does this mean? This means that no other company in the world has the right to manufacture this drug. Only this company has the right to manufacture this drug. So the moment the word right comes, do you realize we are entering into the sphere of options, right? It is a right. Now right means this company has the right to either produce the drug, or it has the right to sit and do nothing. Everybody clear till here? Now, being an approach drug, ABC holds the right of production of drugs and its marketing. The period of patent is 15 years, after which any other pharmaceutical company can produce the drug with the same formula, which means, students, the period or the number of years of this option that this company holds, do you realize, is 15 years. After 15 years, the option will come to an end, it matures, it's over, and then anyone in this world can manufacture this drug. It is estimated that the company shall require to incur 12.5 million for development and market of the drug. Now students, what does this mean? Listen carefully. It means that if this company decides to exercise this option, can I say it will have to pay, correct? It will have to pay $12.5 million, right, for producing the drug. Now can I say this is very similar to a call option? A right to buy involved a payment, right? A right to sell, which is a put option, does not involve payment. If you exercise a put option, can I say you will get a receipt, because a put option gives you a right to sell. Here this is not a right to sell where you are receiving something. This is technically a right to buy where you have to pay something if you exercise. Can I say you will have to pay 12.5 million if you exercise? This, do you realize, will be considered as the strike rate or the strike price, which I call as K. Some of you might have learned it as X, right? This is the strike price. So the strike price is $12.5 million, right? Now, as per a survey conducted, the expected present value of cash flows from the sale of drug during the 15 years shall be 16.7 million. So now we are talking of the underlying asset, right? This particular drug, if you build, if you produce, if you manufacture and start selling it for 15 years, the future cash flows, present value of those future cash flows is 16.7 million, which means the value of the asset underlying is 16.7 million. You all must have studied in security valuation or any kind of valuation. Value of an asset is equal to present value of all future cash flows. So this 16.7, do you realize, will be considered as the spot price of the asset today, that is S0. Moving on, cash flow from the similar type of or a previous similar type of drug have exhibited a variance of 26.8% of the present value of cash flows. Do you realize this basically is sigma square, correct? Variance means sigma square. The moment you start seeing all these terms, I hope you are realizing Black-Scholes is going to come into picture. The current yield on treasury bonds of similar duration is 7.8%. This, children, do you realize is your R? They are asking you determine the value of the patent. Students, the value of the patent, what do they mean? Can I say they mean valuation of this right that you have, correct, to build this particular drug. That is the patent, right? Patent is nothing but a right to build this particular drug. Can I say we will value the patent as how we would have valued a call option, correct? Because it is end of the day a call option. It gives you a right to buy and basically build and basically invest money to start building this particular drug. Now, how do you value a call option, right? It's a patent. Patent is a right. How do you value this right? Using Black-Scholes. I'm pretty sure you know the formula of Black-Scholes and all the variables are there around this. Everybody clear? So students, we will start doing here. Also, they have helped you with the natural log answer and the e raised to answers. One printing mistake that has happened in ICAI is this is e raised to minus 1.0005. Okay, e raised to minus 1.0005. Now, before we start solving this question, there is one thing that I want to talk to you about. Do you remember that when you did Black-Scholes model questions, one of the questions was there in ICAI model also, it must be there in your textbooks also, where the underlying asset, which was the share, was expected to provide dividends in that option period, right? The share was expected to provide income. So the moment the underlying asset is going to provide income to you and you know about it today only, then in the whole calculation, certain things change. The S0 gets adjusted. We do S0 minus present value of that income or present value of dividend wherever S0 is there in the whole calculation of Black-Scholes, right? So remember that if the underlying asset is going to provide you any kind of income, we adjusted the S0. But that income which was given to you in that question was income expressed in amount terms, in rupee terms, in dollar terms. It was not expressed to you in percentage terms, in rate terms, in yield terms. No, it was given to you in rupee terms. So if rupee terms was given, what we used to do? Wherever S0 was there in the entire calculation, we used to do S0 minus present value of income, or basically minus I into e raised to minus Rn. Correct? This is what you used to do. But students, what if that income is not given to you in terms of amount or value or rupees or dollars? What if it is given to you in terms of a rate or a yield percentage? Then what to do? That we will learn in this particular question. Yes, adjustments have to be done. Where and how, I will tell you. But before that, the question arises, is there any dividend given in this particular question? The underlying asset here, of course, is the drug manufacturing that you are doing here. Where is the income? Where is the dividend? So in a patent valuation model, one needs to understand that we need to calculate the cost of delay. Okay, now I'll take some time to explain to you what is the meaning of cost of delay. Students, can I say you have a right to manufacture this drug? Now what is cost of delay? Let us understand. Students, you have a right to build this drug, but that right, can I say, will expire within 15 years. So for every year you decide not to build the drug, can I say you are losing money, right? Because if you build it ASAP, the earlier you will be able to start selling it, the more you will be able to earn. So the delay you do, the more you delay, correct? Let's say you do not develop it in year 1, you decide to develop it in year 2. Can I say you lost the income for first year? If you decide to develop it in year 3, you lost the income for 2 years and so on, because you have got only 15 years now, right? Which means if you decide to delay, you are going to lose money. We need to take this also into consideration when we are calculating the value of that option, when we are calculating the value of that patent. Now how do I take it into consideration? Students, we are valuing the patent as if we are going to exercise it today itself, right? Therefore, if you decide to exercise today itself, you will be getting the entire 15 years for yourself for manufacturing and selling. What we will then do is, we will consider a small dividend yield here in the valuation, right? And what is that dividend yield? The dividend yield is basically you avoiding the cost of delay. Now, if you delay, there is a cost. If you don't delay, there is no cost. Basically, there is an income. You're understanding? You are saving a cost. Now, how do I calculate that yield? How do I calculate that dividend yield? I am pretty sure you understand there is no actual dividend as such. It is just that we are incorporating a benefit of exercising, and that benefit is your saving the cost of delay. And what is the cost of delay? The more you delay, the more you are losing, right? The more you are losing that income, because you have got only 15 years. We don't want you to delay, right? That particular option, that patent is very valuable today, and as the time goes by, that value will keep going down, 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 because now only less number of years will be there for you to exercise and manufacture and sell. So therefore, what we are going to do is, we are going to incorporate this savings of the cost of delay as a dividend yield in this particular calculation. And that, students, has been expressed by all valuation models as y is equal to 1 by n, that is 1 by 15%, right? So if I take the calci, this is 1 divided by 15, and that comes to 6.67%, that is nothing but, okay, 0.0667, okay, 0.0667. Now students, do not try to figure out much logic behind the 1 by n, because students, it is just a calculation model that, okay, over 15 years, what is your cost of delay per annum? So per annum, the cost of delay is taken as 1 by 15. For 2 years, it is 2 by 15, and so on. Everyone clear? So per annum, the cost of delay taken is 1 by 15, that is 6.67%. So in one sense, you can think like this, that you stand to gain 100%, right? You stand to gain 100% over 15 years. So for every year you delay, can I say you are losing 6.67%? That is a theoretical approximate average calculation that is done just to add that little bit of spice in the overall valuation, where you are telling that please start the patent, or you please start the exercise of this right immediately. You will get 6.67% every year as a dividend yield. And I'll again repeat, what is that 6.67%? You are just trying to make the manufacturer aware that start soon, there is an earning waiting for you. The more you delay, the more you will lose 6.67% per annum. Everybody clear till here? So that is basically the discussion to cost of delay. Now that you have understood that there is a dividend yield in this overall calculation, how do I incorporate it in Black-Scholes? That is the next step. Everybody ready? So now, what is the Black-Scholes model? I'll write here, C0 is equal to S0 into ND1 minus K into e raised to minus Rn into ND2. K into e raised to minus Rn, or you can write K upon e raised to Rn, it's the same thing, right? Present value of K basically. Now students, as far as S0 is concerned, now this S0, students, as I told you earlier, needs to be adjusted because there is a yield here, right? Now how do I adjust? Very simple. I will just write here S0, okay, into e raised to minus y into n, or basically S0 divided by e raised to yn, and then I will bring the into ND1. So can you see, you are basically reducing the S0. If the dividend would have been given to you in terms of rupees, you would have done S0 minus the present value of dividend. But since it is given to you in terms of a rate, you are doing S0 divided by e raised to yn, or into e raised to minus yn. Okay, that is how you adjust S0. So this is the first area, right? This is the first area where the yield is going to change your Black-Scholes model calculation. This is the first area. Second area will come when we are doing the D1 calculation. Okay. Anyways, now let's put numbers here and go ahead. So now what is S0? As we had discussed in the question, the S0 here is 16.7 million, correct? 16.7 million. So I'll write here 16.7 million into e raised to. Now y, can I say the y which we had calculated was 0.0667. So I'll write here e raised to minus 0.0667 into, and n as you know are 15 years, into ND1 minus, now K was the strike price, as you remember, 12.5 million. So minus 12.5 million into e raised to minus Rn. So now here the R will be normal R only, that is 7.8%. So I'll write minus 0.078 into 15 into ND2. Okay. So now this is 16.7 into, now if I take the calculator, this is 0.0667 into 15, and that comes to 1,005. So e raised to minus 1.005 into ND1 minus 12.5 into e raised to, now this will be 0.078 into 15, and that comes to 1.17. So minus 1.17 into ND2. Done. Now if you proceed ahead, this is 16.7 into, now e raised to minus 1.0005, can I say is given to you as 0.3677. So I'll write 0.3677 into ND1 minus 12.5 into e raised to minus 1.17. E raised to minus 1.17 is 0.3104. So I'll write here 0.3104 into ND2. Everyone clear? Then let's take the calces. This is 16.7 into 0.3677, and that comes to 6.14059 into ND1 minus, so this will be 12.5 into 0.3104, so this is 3.88 into ND2. Everyone clear till here? Now that we have this, let us go to ND1 and ND2. For that, we'll first of all do D1 and D2. So what is the formula of D1 that you know? The formula of D1 that you know is natural logs of S0 by K plus R plus sigma square by 2, correct, into the time period, or basically the number of years, the whole divided by sigma root into the number of years, correct. This is what you know. Now if dividends or the yield was given to you in terms of rupees, can I say we would have adjusted the S0, we would have said S0 minus present value of income. But since here it is not given in terms of rupees, it is given in terms of rate, then where will we change? Students, we will be changing it not here at S0, but instead on the second half of the numerator where R is there, instead of R we'll write R minus Y. That is, you are adjusting that particular dividend yield by reducing the rate in the numerator itself. So I'll tell you the second area where there is going to be a change of this particular dividend yield is in the calculation of D1, right? So now we will put numbers in this. So this is ln. Tell me S0 was how much? S0, can I say 16.7. K, as you know, is 12.5 plus R 7.8% normal, so 0.078. Y 6.67%, so 0.067 plus sigma square. If you remember, sigma square here, can you see this 26.8 variance, correct? Sigma square. So 26.8 means I'll write 0.268 divided by 2, and the whole into time period is number of years, that is 15. The whole divided by sigma root t. Now you know root t will be root of 15, and can I say sigma, I hope you realize, will be root of the variance. Everybody clear? Root of the variance will be sigma. Now moving on, ln 16.7 upon 12.5. Now students, 16.7 divided by 12.5, if you do, you get 1.336. You need the natural log of 1.336, and that is exactly what they have given to you, 0.2897. So here we will put 0.2897 and so on you will do. At the end, students, I hope you realize you will get the D1, and similarly you will get D2 also, right? I am skipping all that process here. The D1 and D2 once you get, I'll straight away take you to ICI solution now. Can you see they have eventually got the D1 as 1.2315. Same calculation they have done. If you want, you can check. This is the same thing. Everyone clear? And once you have this, you have the D1. Similarly, we can find D2. D1 and D2 we have. Can I say ND1 and ND2 we can calculate? Everybody clear? So ND1 comes to 0.8910. For ND1 and ND2, I hope you remember, you need those Z value tables, right? Probability distribution curve and all that. I'm pretty sure you must have been taught on how to do all those calculations. I'll straight away pick up these numbers now. ND1 is 0.8910. So I'll go back here. Okay. ND1 is 0.8910 and ND2 comes to 0.2196. So I'll write here 0.2196, and students will simply take the calci now and we will solve this. So this is 6.14059 into 0.8910 m plus 3.88 into 0.2196 m minus MRC. We get the value of the right, the value of the patent, the value of the call option as $4.619 million. $4.619 million. Everyone clear? So students, in this entire thing, I think you just simply need to see the patent as a call option that gives you a right to manufacture the drug, correct? In which the actual money you have to invest becomes the K, that is the strike price. The underlying value of the asset, that is present value of future cash flows, becomes S0, sigma square, number of years, R, everything will be given to you. One small catch was that there is a cost of delay, because you have this option only for 15 years. The more you keep delaying, the more you are losing. Therefore, by starting early, can I say you are getting a hidden dividend yield. That dividend yield is to be calculated as 1 upon number of years. Once that is done, then you do the normal Black-Scholes calculation. Two areas you have to pay attention. One is the original Black-Scholes formula, S0 into ND1 minus K into e raised to minus Rn into ND2. In that the S0 needs to be adjusted. It is S0 into e raised to minus Yn, that is 1. And second is when you are doing the D1, in the D1 calculation, don't adjust the S0 here, because in D1 what is the formula? Natural log of S0 by K. That S0 don't adjust. Keep it like that only, because the adjustment is happening in the R, because the yield is given to you as percentage. No, if yield was given to you in rupees, I would have adjusted the S0 only, but because it is given to you in percentage, we do ln S0 by K normal plus R minus Y plus sigma square by 2 into T the whole upon sigma root T. Everything else remains same, right? So that is as far as valuation of a patent is concerned, right? Now we students go to the next illustration, that is illustration 5, in which we will study another valuation of something called as an abandonment option. Let's start. Okay students, so illustration 5, now this is about valuing an abandonment option. Now how to do that? Let us understand through this question. So what are they saying? IPL, already in production of fertilizers, is considering a proposal of building a new plant to produce pesticides. Okay. Now they are already producing fertilizers. They are considering a proposal of building a new plant to produce pesticides. Now the present value of the proposal is 100 crores. Now students, what is this? This is basically PV of future CI. The value today is 100 crores, which means if this particular proposal requires you to invest, let's say 90 crores, can I say you will accept it because the NPV is positive? If they ask you to invest 102 crores, can I say you will reject it because you are saying the max I am ready to pay is 100. Everybody clear till here? But this 100 crore is something without the abandonment option. Now what this means, let's read ahead. However, if market conditions for pesticides turn out to be favorable, the present value of proposal shall increase by 30%. On the other hand, if the market conditions remain sluggish, the present value of the proposal shall be reduced by 40%. Okay, this means that, I'll write it here. This means that today, I'll write year 0, can I say the value is 100 crore, correct? But if the conditions turn favorable, do you realize it could go up to 130 crore, right? They are saying it can increase by 30%. But if the conditions are unfavorable, it can drop by 40%. Okay, it can become 60 crore. The moment you see this kind of diagram, I hope you realize you are heading for binomial risk neutral model. Okay. Now, in case the company is not interested in continuation of the project, it can be disposed of for 80 crore. Now what this means, very important line of the question. Now they are saying, okay, if everything goes great, 130 crores, if everything goes not so great, 60 crores, the present value of everything is 100 crores. Everybody clear till here? But now there is a catch. The catch is that in case you do not want to continue this project, you can abandon it. Abandon the project, sell it to somebody, get out, and on abandonment, you are promised 80 crores. They are saying that in case you abandon, you can dispose it off for 80 crores, which means, children, you have a right to abandon the project for 80 crores. You have a right to sell the project for 80 crores. Can I say you are right now, knowingly or unknowingly, holding a put option, a right to sell? And this is exactly that we have to value. They are asking you to value the abandonment option if the rate of interest is 8%, but deep within we know that they are asking you to value the put option where you have a right to sell at 80 crores, which means 80 crore, can I say, becomes the K, the strike price, the X. Everyone clear? Now, ask yourself, if this is S1, right? If this is S1, will you want to exercise the put option? The answer is no. You would want to lapse it. Why would you want to lapse it? You would want to lapse it because why would you abandon and get only 80 crore when the value of the asset you're holding is 130, right? If S1 is above K, the put is out of money and we will lapse it. But in case this becomes S1, can I say the put will be exercised, right? The K of 80 crore will be exercised and you will get a value. The value of put on the due date, can I say, will be K minus S1, 80 crore minus 60 crore, 20 crore will be the value of the put option, which means on due date, that means at end of year 1, the put option can either have a zero value, worthless, out of money, or it can have an in the money valuation of 20 crores. Students, we want to know what is the value of that put option today. Now for this, according to binomial model, I hope you know what to do. We have first of all find the probabilities of upside and downside, and then calculate the weighted average on due date, and then find the present value. Binomial single step model calculation we have to do. Okay, so for that, I'll first of all tell you, Institute also uses this model at some places, some other places it uses some other formula. Now see what I'm doing. U here will be 130 crore upon 100 crore, that is 1.3. D here will be 60 crore upon 100 crore, that is 0.6. And then we say probability of upside is 1 plus R raised to n minus D, the whole upon U minus D. Now 1 plus R, now R, can I say, given to you is 8%. So 1.08 raised to 1 minus 0.6, the whole upon 1.3 minus 0.6. So on the calci 1.08, okay, I'll type again 1.08 minus 0.6, this is 0.48, and then in denominator 1.3 minus 0.6, that is 0.7. If we solve this, 0.48 divided by 0.7, you get 0.686. Okay, 0.686 is the probability of the upside. Probability of the downside will be 1 minus 0.686. So 1 minus 0.686, that comes to 0.314. Okay, so now that we have got the PU and the PD, I just want to tell you this was my method. Of course, my in a sense, this is how I do it. ICAI has also done it like this. There are some areas where ICAI has used some other method. You must have been taught like that in your classes. I'll show you that also. So that method is like this, that they say that you will either get a 30% return or you will get a 40% loss, correct? 100 can go to 130 or 100 could go to 60. Now let's say the probability of you getting 30% return is PU and the probability of you getting, okay, a 40% loss is PD. Everyone clear? The weighted average of both of these, can I say, should come to the risk-free rate, that is 8%, right? So you can either get 30% or negative 40%. On an average, you should get 8%. For that, what should be the weights? Now, instead of PD, can I say we can write 1 minus PU, because the total of both probabilities is 1. Now students, since there is a negative 40 here, we'll write only 40, and instead of plus, we will write minus. I hope you understood mathematics what I did. So let's open this up. 0.08 is equal to 0.3 PU minus 0.4 plus 0.4 PU. Okay, now students, this 0.4 will push it to the LHS and that will become 0.48. Okay, that will become 0.48 is equal to 0.7 PU, and therefore can I say PU will be 0.48 divided by 0.7, and that comes to 0.686. Everyone clear? That same PU which you had got here, same thing. Everyone done? So now that you have the PU and PD, we'll find the value of the put option. Can I say value of the put option will be the put on the upper side into the probability of the upper side plus the put of the lower side into the probability of the downside. Correct? This will give you the weighted average put value on the due date. You want the put value today. So can I say we will divide this by 1 plus r raised to n to find the present value. You are basically discounting it. Everyone clear? Now let's put numbers. On the upper side, can I say the put value is 0 and the probability is 0.686. On the lower side, the put value is 20 crores. I hope you remember that, the tree which we had drawn some time back, right? You can see this. This is 0 and this is 20. Everybody clear? So now we will write 20 into the PD is 0.314, that is the probability of the downside, the whole upon 1.08 raised to 1. So if you take the calculators, this is 0 part we will ignore, we'll straight away do 20 into 0.314 and divide this by 1.08. You get the put value as 5.81 crores. So students, can I say the value of the abandonment option that you are holding is 5.81 crores. It is basically the value of the put option here, right? It is the value of the put option. So what happens is today, right? Today you are saying that the present value of all future cash flows is 100 crores today. Now if this particular proposal asks you to invest 90 crores, can I say you will say yes because there is a 10 crore NPV. Everybody clear? But what if this same proposal would have asked you to invest 102? As discussed earlier, you will say no because the NPV is negative. But I want you to understand that you might consider saying yes also, because yes, there is a 100 crore present value of future cash flows in this particular project, but apart from that, can I say you are also having an abandonment option, a put option you are holding, which also has a value, right, in this particular project, because you have a right to exit anytime you want at 80 crores. Do you understand? Like for example, if things go south, right? You will be facing a 60 crore cash flow at the end of year 1, but that 60 crore has been taken into consideration when you have calculated the 100 crore present value of future cash flows. So when we calculated present value of future cash flows, we thought we will either get 130 or we will get 60. But then because of this abandonment option, you realize that, you are not going to get stuck at 60, you can get out and get 80 also. Can I say that fact has been ignored while calculating this 100 crore? Everybody clear that 100 crore you calculated here, ignored that fact that you can get out at 80 crores also. So therefore, if you want to consider that fact also into consideration in the valuation, we realize that the base value of everything is 100 crore, but yes, we have a put option also embedded of 5.81 crore. The value today of this put option is 5.81 crore, and therefore the value of the whole project, the present value of future cash flows, should be 100 crore, base present value of future cash flows, plus the value of abandonment option that you're holding with you, the value of the put option you're holding with you, that is 5.81 crore, and therefore the total value of the project is 105.81, and if they are asking you to invest 102, can I say you might consider accepting it. Can I say if you wouldn't have thought about this abandonment option, at 102 crores you would have rejected this particular project, but the moment you realize, oh my god, you have an option also here of abandoning, the valuation of the project straight away goes from 100 to 105.81. So 5.81 crore, can I say, is the value of the abandonment option, that is the put option. So with that, students, we complete the discussion to illustration 5. Let us now go to illustration 6. Okay students, so now we come to the last illustration, that is illustration 6. We studied in illustration 4 the valuation of patent. We studied in illustration 5 the valuation of an abandonment option. Now in illustration 6 we will understand the valuation of a timing option. Okay, so let's start understanding through this particular illustration. They are saying, suppose MIS Limited is considering installation of solar electricity generating plant for light the staff quarters. This basically means that this company is considering installation of a solar electricity generating plant for lighting the staff quarters. The plant shall cost 2.5 crores today and shall lead to a saving in electricity expenses by 21 lakh per year forever. Which means this company is saying that if we are able to install this solar electricity generating plant, then it will give us a benefit of 21 lakh rupees savings in electricity cost per annum forever. Okay. Then they are saying, assume that the WACC or the discounting rate is 10%. Students, it's very simple. Do you realize that the NPV today will be present value of cash inflows, that is 21 lakh by 10%, it is perpetual annuity, minus the present value of cash outflows, that is 250 lakh. 250 lakh basically is nothing but 2.5 crore into 100. So this is 210 lakh minus 250 lakh, negative 40 lakh. Do you realize the project should be rejected? There is no point in going for this, because even if you are saving 21 lakh every year for eternity, the present value of all that you will save is only 210 lakh, whereas you have to pay 250 lakh today. And do you realize it is not worth? The NPV is negative, we will reject it. Now comes the question of timing option. Now in NPV analysis, what happens is we straight away say yes or no. Either completely yes or completely no. Here we are now saying completely no. But then the question says, hey wait, at least listen to us. There could be a possibility of saying yes also. Because right now, using whatever information we have right now, yes, the project does not appear viable. But maybe things could change, some factors could change, and then it could make sense to start this project sometime in the future. Yes, as of today it appears unviable or not viable, not good, but maybe in future it could appear good. So let's see. whether this project is worth it if we start it somewhere in future. That is what is called as timing option, whether you want to time it right now or you want to time it at the future. So they are saying, however, with a change in government in state, maybe there is elections going on or an election might come in near future, and if the government changes, then the rate of electricity is subjected to change. If that changes, which electricity? Normal electricity, we are not talking of solar. If the normal electricity rates undergo change, then the savings in electricity could either be 12 lakhs or it could be 35 lakh per year forever. Everyone clear? So they are saying that right now with whatever information we have today, we are seeing that we could be saving 21 lakh forever. But if the government changes, then students, the savings because of electricity rate changes could either be only 12 lakh per annum or it could be 35 lakh per annum. Now let's see if you understand this. If the savings, okay, are 35 lakh per annum for eternity, can I say the net present value will be 35 lakh by 10% minus 250 lakh? And if the savings, okay, are only 12 lakh per annum, okay, for eternity, do you realize the NPV could be 12 lakh by 10% minus 250 lakh? So 350 lakh minus 250 lakh, can I say the NPV is 100 lakh? And here 120 lakh minus 250 lakh, the NPV is negative 130 lakh. Everyone clear till here? So now students, can I say if you decide to start after a year from here, the NPV could be 100 lakh or it could be 130 lakhs negative, correct? So now we want to check whether it is worth it to start later, okay, because to start now it is not worth. You can clearly see that it is having a negative NPV, but is it worth to start later, maybe after a year, and then take into consideration these new sources of data which are telling you that you could either save 35 lakh per annum or 12 lakh per annum? If we are able to save 35 lakh per annum, no, then the NPV is positive, great project. But if we are able to save only 12 lakh per annum, horrible NPV, negative 130 lakhs, we should reject. But can I say we still as of today don't have the clarity as to what will happen. So we will then have to go into the binomial approach. I'll tell you how. See, do you realize this is year 0 and this is year 1. Today you have to invest 250 lakh. Do you agree? After 1 year, you could either get 100 lakh NPV, correct? Either get 100 lakh NPV or you could get negative 130 lakh NPV. So what we have to do is we simply need to calculate the weighted average of these two NPVs after 1 year and find the present value of it to know whether the present value of these future possible NPVs is positive. If it is positive, we'll go for it. Go for it means we will decide to start after 1 year. And if it is negative, we will say reject. Everyone ready? So let's see what happens. So for that, can I say you will require to calculate the PU and the PD. Everybody agreeing? PU and PD. So let's start. So here I would like to tell you that the U is, now do you realize that 100 lakh means, can I say 350 lakh is the total cash inflow that you will be getting, present value of future cash inflows. So I'll write here 350 lakh. And here I hope you remember is 120 lakh, right? 120 lakh was the PV of CI, 350 lakh is the PV of CI, which means if you invest 250 today, it can either go to 350 or it could go to 120. So the U for me is 350 upon 250. Let's see what this comes to. So I'll do 350 upon 250. This is 1.4. The D students comes to, now can I say the 250 could go to 120 also. So do you therefore realize D is 120 upon 250. So I'll take the calci, 120 divided by 250 and this comes to 0.48. Can I say PU is equal to 1 plus R raised to N minus D upon U minus D. So now we'll do 1 plus R raised to N. R is the risk-free rate. The risk-free rate given to you in the question is, can I say 8%? So I'll write here 1.08 raised to 1 minus 0.48. The whole upon 1.4 minus 0.48. So on the calci 1.08 minus 0.48 and that comes to 0.6, and then we have got 1.4 minus 0.48, and that comes to 0.92. So on the calci, 0.6 divided by 0.92, we get 0.652. Okay, 0.652 as the PU, and of course PD will be 1 minus 0.652, that is 0.348. Everyone clear? So can I say the expected NPV today will be, do you realize we have got two NPVs possible, 100 and negative 130. So I'll write 100 lakh into probability of upside plus negative 130 lakh into probability of downside, the whole divided by the discounting rate at risk-free rate, that is 1.08. Okay, so now the PU and PD, you know, the PU is 0.652. So I'll write here 0.652, and the PD is 0.348. So I'll write here 0.348. And if I take the calculator now, 100 into 0.652 m plus 130 into 0.348 m minus MRC divided by 1.08, and this comes to 18.48 lakh. Oh, that means if you decide not to start now, but if you decide to start after a year, can I say the NPV turns out to be positive? And since the NPV turns out to be positive, the decision that we are able to take now is don't start the NPV now, start it after 1 year. So that is exactly what they are telling you here. At the, see, you can see here point number 1, they are saying that we will evaluate NPV in two situations. One is as on today and one is after 1 year. As on today, you remember 40 lakh rupees is the loss, NPV negative, not to accept. After 1 year, do you realize that this is all their calculation they are doing, and after 1 year, do you realize if we do that, then the present value turns out to be 18.48. And students, since the NPV is 18.48, do you realize it is advisable to wait and see, as NPV may turn out positive after a year. Now students, after a year, why are they using the word may? Why not say go for it, NPV is positive? Because students, after a year only we will be able to actually figure out whether the savings are going to be 12 or 35. As of today, because I have got two options, I found out the average of that 12 and 35, all options came positive. But after 1 year, if actually the savings become only 12 lakh per annum, can I say we will still say reject the project because it is not worth it? At 12 lakh there is a negative NPV of 1.3 crores. Yes, if it is 35 lakh per annum, then we will say please go for it, because 35 lakh per annum, do you realize, is going to give you a positive NPV. As of today, what we could max do is find the average of these two, a weighted average and expected average, correct? But after 1 year, when things become actually clear, is when we will be able to figure out whether we should go for it or not. So the conclusion of all of this is, as of today, the answer is no. Correct? As of today, with whatever limited information is there, the answer is no. Nothing doing, no starting today, there is going to be a negative NPV. After 1 year, because things could change, there is a possibility of saying yes, right? And the average of all that could happen after 1 year is coming positive only. So we will say, okay, let us not do it today, let us wait for 1 year. After waiting for 1 year, if you realize that the savings are only 12 lakh per year, don't go for it. If you realize the savings are going to be 35 lakh per year, go for it. Everyone clear? Also, what if this NPV only would have come negative? If this last NPV would have come negative, then what would have been the conclusion? The conclusion would have been, don't wait for 1 year also. Forget it, run away. You're understanding? But because this NPV came positive, we are saying, hey, wait, there is still a scope for this NPV to turn the tables and become positive for you. So wait and watch. Let's see what happens after 1 year. That is as far as this particular question is concerned. So students, these were the 3 new illustrations which were added in your derivatives chapter as far as May 2024 study model is concerned, and of course for all the attempts after that in this new syllabus. Apart from these 3 questions, there is that extra chapter added of advanced capital budgeting, right? Apart from this, there is nothing new as far as the syllabus is concerned. So I hope you all understood these 3 illustrations: valuation of patent, valuation of abandonment option, and valuation of the timing option, right? So thank you very much. See you.